All right. Well, welcome everybody. We've got tonight Heather Chapman, who's talking about coping skills. So something that's probably close and dear to our heart, coming back from or with a background in psychology and also being a homeschooling mom of five. She's probably had some good usage out of showing coping skills and teaching it through the process. So look forward to what you have, Heather, and I'm going to turn it over to you, and hopefully our internet connection will stay fairly stable tonight for the rest of this.
Okay. Well, I guess I know everybody here, so I'm just going to go through what I have. I don't have anything like screen share or anything. So I was mostly going to go through basically talk about the sources of stress, especially for your age group, and then maybe some of the things like signs of stress, and then just some coping skills that maybe you don't already have. Maybe some new things that you can use. So who can guess what I pulled up a study of teens. Who can guess what the biggest source of stress they said was? Blake?
School.
Yep. So 83% of teens say school is the biggest source of stress. So some of it is getting into college and figuring out what you're going to do after you graduate from high school would have been the biggest one. And then the rest of it's financial concerns, test scores, just pleasing your teachers and parents. One big thing is time management, like trying to manage your time, especially when you're trying to balance out like getting homework done, extracurricular activities. Sometimes if you have a part-time job and just having social stuff with friends. Is there anything that who here can identify with any of those stressors? Or is there any stressors that is different from what I just listed? Blake?
I don't really stress that much about school, but I stress a lot about my blood sugar.
Okay. Yeah. So health. Is it freezing up?
It did just slightly, yeah.
Okay. So, and that might be an added one. I'm going to go down to the bottom because we're going to talk about added things like on top of that, like health and things like that. Also, one big thing this year and we're doing it right now, a lot of kids are just experiencing like the change in the school. I don't know, I'm not sure what you guys did, but a lot of classes were on Zoom. So it was different for people and that was more stressful for people. So did you guys have any classes on Zoom? Did you, Jake? Were some of your classes had to be Zoom?
Yes.
They did. Did you find that more stressful?
Not really. I'm used to being on the Zoom.
So you didn't mind it?
Not really.
So for some it was more stressful because it was harder to pay attention and focus on some of the classes. So, and then some people could handle it a lot better. So we had a different school year this year that made things a little bit more stressful for some people. Other stressors are that people talked about are just friendship stuff, like maintaining friendships, conflict, how to handle conflict with friends, and even like bullying in school. So is there anything that anybody can think of on top of that you can think of? Any other stressors to add that might have school-wise, and somebody, and we're kind of in different situations. I forgot, Blake, did you just do homeschool this year?
I did Hilger too.
Hilger, okay. So, and I know Mary Kate, all her college classes were online, so. And then the other set of stressors are like traumatic stressors. So death of family, friends, even pets, sickness of family, friends, abuse in the home, accidents, all those kinds of things are added stressors to people. Some of this might not be what you deal with, but it also could be if you have friends that you know of. Sometimes it's also helpful to know when friends are going through different stressors also. So, and then the last thing is just life changes, like moving, changing schools, divorce, remarriage, blending families. So those are some things. I don't think anybody here identify with any of those? Hi.
Well, I know Jake has swapped schools a few times, and Blake has gone to different programs and co-ops and different things. So I'm sure there's stressors when all of the new year starts, or there's a move that we moved in 2016. So they're not speaking up, but they've lived through a bunch of that different stressors. So.
All right. So some of the so yeah, changing schools, doing new schools. I know Mary Kay, you'll be starting freshman year of college. So those are some stressors that might be coming up that you might not realize that'll be stressors until it happens, but it's good to know that it can actually be a stress on you. And stress is good in some ways because it can motivate you to do things well. But sometimes it can affect you physically or emotionally, which what I wanted to do was like signs of stress. So sometimes when you're feeling stress, you might notice that you become more agitated or anxious or depressed. And so all of those things are normal ups and downs. The time that you might seek help is when it really affects your daily life. Like you're not doing your normal things as you would normally do, or you're not hanging with friends as you normally would, or family. Did we have somebody else pop on? Hello.
Yeah.
We're just kind of going down the list of stressors and what, how they affect us. So we just talked about school being the most stressful for a lot of people. I know we have some new girls pop on here. Can you guys, do you have any stressful things at school that affect you right now or have affected you?
It might be, Ivy might not want to talk.
All right, so basically I'm talking about all the things that, all the changes that we can go through, things that affect us and can stress us out. Sometimes it also can affect us physically. So sometimes we can feel it through like headaches, stomach aches, or other aches and pains. And that's when we know that maybe stress is affecting us. Other things that can affect, it can change. We can have a change in our eating habits or sleeping habits. So I don't know if anybody here has had trouble going to sleep at night, like laying awake in bed, not being able to sleep because you have so many things running through your head. So that's one thing. The other thing is you could be sleeping a lot, trying to avoid the stress, whatever's stressing you out. So if you tend to be sleeping more, just laying in bed and taking more naps, just feeling kind of more lethargic. So it can be either or. Also, it affects our eating. So if you notice that some people tend to eat, like go to your comfort foods because you're stressed, so you want to eat. And it makes you feel better for the time, but the stress is still there. Can anybody identify with that? So, and then for some people, they don't want to eat, they skip meals. So your stomach doesn't feel that great because you're stressing, your stomach hurts, and you don't eat well. So that could be the other thing. And the other effect it can have, it changes our behavior is your concentration might decrease. So if you notice that you're just hard to concentrate on certain things that you normally can concentrate on, that's one thing that can happen. Or you just forgetfulness, like a lot more than usual. So just stress can affect just the way you are trying to manage your day. So maybe normally you're organized, but if you're stressed about stuff, and what I had said before, for the ones that missed, most people are stressed about school, like keeping things organized, the test scores coming up, college. Are any of the girls here, are you guys getting ready to head to college soon or anything?
I think it's just
Not
Katie.
yet.
Katie just joined. I think you said Mary Kate was, right?
Mary Kate, yeah, she took some college classes online, but yeah, so
I guess technically Blake is going to college he's going to be going to collegiate high. So it's going to be a chat state program, dual enrollment. So he doesn't probably have stress around it, but that's where he's going.
so it'll still be a change in schools. So it'll be something new to learn, right? A new schedule, new teachers. What you have to do is be able to compare how you normally are to know how this is affecting you. So if you're normally not organized, then it might not be affecting you that way. But if all of a sudden you're not concentrating really well and you're distracted easily, you might know that the stress is affecting you. Also, sometimes you might not realize it, but it might be called to your attention through like family or friends, people that know you. So if you're around people, you can listen to other people, like if they notice that things are changing with you, and they might let you know. That might also be a sign that something is going on, that whatever is stressful to you might be affecting you, your personality, the way you are. So usually other people can notice if something is different going on with you. So basically I wanted to go through and have you guys talk about just different coping skills. Does anybody here know what I mean when I say like coping skills? What it means? Or have a example of a coping skill? Anyone here?
Ways that you can cope with stress in a healthy way.
Yeah. Yep. So the way that you can cope with things that stress you out in a healthy way. So some of you may be doing it and you just don't know it. You can also develop bad coping skills too, out of habit. So like if your coping skill is to take a nap instead of do your homework, then you have to avoid doing something, that would be a negative coping skill. If your coping skill is to eat 10 cookies, to help you feel better, then that's probably a negative coping skill. So, and we all have some negative ones. It happens. So I made a list of some of the things, and down the road, if people want to, if there's a way I can email some of this stuff to people if they need it. But one big thing, and I'm going to give you some science here too. So some of this coping skill stuff has to do with the science of our body. So like how our body reacts to stress and the things we do. So the first thing I have is, you may have heard this before, but deep breathing. And for most people, you think, oh my gosh, deep breathing, really taking deep breaths. But deep breathing actually affects your nervous system. Okay. So there's two parts to your nervous system. And if you didn't know this, your nervous system cannot do two things at the same time. So if you are breathing deeply, but you're allowing carbon dioxide to come into your body, and that actually quiets down part of your brain. So that's called the I can't say it. The amygdala. Blah. Okay. So that part of your brain handles the anxiety of your body. All right. And you're giving it carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide helps you synchronize your heartbeat and your breathing. So it all works together. Because you can do the opposite. I don't know if you're doing shallow, deep, quick breaths, you can actually create anxiety in yourself. So I don't know if you've ever done that, where you're really nervous and you are just taking little deep, small, short breaths. So you can actually do the opposite with your body, but you can't do it at the same time. So if you reverse that by taking super deep breaths, slow in, hold, and slow out, you can actually change the brain chemistry that helps you kind of slow down your heartbeat, your blood pressure. So that's kind of an immediate thing that you can do. So one easy way to start is if you want to kind of do it now, what you would do is you're going to take a deep breath and you're going to fill it from your stomach. And you are going to breathe in and count to 4 as you're breathing in. So you would go. And then you're going to hold it for 4 counts. And then you're going to let it all the way out for 4 counts. So you can feel your body just naturally relax. And you'll do that several times. So you're concentrating and you're taking it in for slow 4 counts. You hold it for slow 4 counts and you let it out. And you do it slowly. And you can notice the change in your body and how it's relaxing. You can feel your whole body relax, your shoulders relax. So that's just something that you can do immediately anywhere you're at. All right, so that's one thing. There's also different other techniques of breathing exercises that you can even look up, just some different ideas. So that one is kind of the easiest way to do it really quickly. Now the other thing is just write everything down that might be stressing you out. So take a piece of paper, and maybe that's something you can do tonight. If we were in class together, I would have people kind of doing this stuff. We would be able to do more of this stuff. I'd probably give you time to write down your list of everything that stresses you, whether it's at school, at home, in your personal relationships, because friendships can be stressful. Any other type of relationships with family can be stressful. So one thing you would do is write down everything that you find that is stressful to you. So having a list, why do you think having a list would help you? How would that help you have a list? What do you think? What can you do with that list? Does anybody have any ideas? Yes. Ivy? What can you do with that list?
It'll help you because once you write everything down that's stressful to you, you can check it all off, so you'll know, so everything won't be like stressful to you anymore after you figure out a solution for it.
Yeah. So you can look at it, and I think, like you said, you can check it off. What you can do is, first of all, look at your list, and you can identify things that you can actually control and things that you might not be able to control. So you can control how you handle a situation, but if the situation is about somebody else, you can't control how they react, right? You can't control somebody else. If it's about school, you can control the time management you have. If there's a project that's due or a test, you can control how much time you study, right? You can control what you decide to do about that. So sometimes it's easy just to look and decide what's the thing that you need to do now. So how many of you guys have stressors like, I'm stressing about something now, and I'm stressing about something that's in the future, and I'm stressing about something that happened in the past? So can you control anything that's happened in the past? So you can't really change anything that's happened in the past, but you can control how you deal with how you're thinking about it, right? So once you figure out what is the most immediate thing that you need to do, then you can start to make a plan. So if the most recent thing that you're stressed about is a test the next day, that could be your priority. Like, I'm going to take time and I'm going to study today. And if you're stressed about something that's going on next week, you know that I can worry about that after I get through this test today. So it just helps you prioritize. And you can also, if you have somebody that you can look over it with you, sometimes it helps you, whether it's a parent or somebody that's older, if they can look at it with you, and sometimes they can talk through it with you. So they can tell you, they can help you, like, you don't need to worry about this right now. Some things, it might minimize. If you think your parent has an expectation and they talk to you about it, and you realize that, okay, this isn't as stressful as I thought it was. So again, you can look over that list with somebody that you might know, and they can also help you. The next thing, exercise is another thing. Who here does an activity they like, exercise wise? And I'm talking about, it could be just walking, getting out and walking in the neighborhood. So is there anything that anybody here, does everybody here, do they do something outside, or something they like, that they move around, do something? Okay. So exercise also, this is going to be kind of a science lesson, a biology lesson. It actually can help improve your concentration. It produces what they call endorphins. Has anybody heard that word, endorphins? So it naturally produces endorphins for you. So endorphins are a natural painkiller. It also improves your ability to sleep, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. So the endorphins are a natural painkiller, which if you suffer from, part of the thing is you suffer from headaches or stomach aches because of stress. So that exercise is going to help combat that. It also gives you some of that extra energy, makes you feel healthy. So if you find something that you can do that's active, it doesn't have to be strenuous. It can be low to moderate. It brings out, like I said, those natural endorphins that your body needs to deal with daily stress. And this has been done with, scientists have done this. So they found that it lowers tension in people. It elevates your mood. It improves your sleep and self-esteem. So people that exercise have shown these characteristics a lot more. And then that leads into sleep. So taking care of your body means you need to sleep, and you need to have good sleep. So because you need that, your body is recovering from your whole day of stress. So if you get your good deep sleep, your body is relaxing. Your body's able to recover from the stress that day. So exercising helps give you that deep sleep. One thing, what do you think people do that affects people's sleep? What do you think? One thing that is that people do that they need to not do at least an hour before you sleep? Anyone have an idea? Did you guys see that? So one of the things is screen time, just the screen time, just to let your brain quiet down before you go to sleep. The suggestion is, no screen time. So it's a good time to read, just do something quiet. If it might be listening to quiet music, anything that's quiet that, if you're stimulated, it's gonna be harder for you to go to sleep. And one thing that also can affect that sleep is if you're on the screen time and you're on social media. So I don't know what you guys get into, but if you see you have a lot of the negative things or things that might get you kind of going and thinking about stuff. So along with the screen time is also just not, bombarding your brain with a lot of social media stuff that can get you going to bed and you're thinking about stuff and whatever. So that could be in a whole other class, just social media. And then the other thing is just good nutrition. So nutrition also affects your stress levels. So an example would be like vitamin C. And vitamin C affects like your levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So vitamin C, that comes in like the citrus fruits. So, when people said eat your vegetables and your fruits, that also affects your body physically, and it affects how your body deals with stress. Even like the good complex carbohydrates, like grains and fruits and vegetables, they help increase the serotonin in your body, which also helps with managing your stress levels. Having magnesium in your diet, like with spinach and leafy vegetables and salmon, that helps with headaches. That can help with headaches that might come about with stress. So, and even like the fatty acids you get in like salmon and tuna and seeds and nuts, those can help reduce the stress hormones that your body kicks out when you're in a stressful situation or you're stressing about stuff. So, yeah, all the things that people have told you to do all your life, there's actually a reason for it. So, it's kind of interesting if you study your body and your, the biology and stuff, just how different things can affect your hormones, and like I said, the serotonin and endorphins, all those things, all those good things that your body gives out that helps us combat stressful situations. Another good coping skill is laughter. So has anybody heard the term laughter is the best medicine? So they've actually done studies with this, and they've done studies with people that have been in hospitals, maybe recovering from surgeries or cancers. If people watch like comedy shows and comedy, their bodies tend to heal faster, tend to get out of the hospital faster. So just laughing, because your body instantly lowers its blood pressure, and your whole body relaxes it relaxes, and that's when you have like the good hard laugh, something that makes you laugh. So when you think about this, you need to think about like what TV show would you watch that would make you laugh? Does anybody have a good TV show or Sometimes there's comedians that people like to watch that make you laugh. Does anybody have anything that they watch that makes them laugh really hard? Any suggestions? So if you have anything that you know that makes you laugh, or people that you're around, if there's certain people that you know will make you laugh, that would be the best thing. So if you're stressed, going through stressful things, don't watch a sad movie, right? So find something that makes you laugh, like really hard. So when you're low, and it lowers the stress hormone, so you can't, it's hard for you to remain like anxious or angry or sad if you're releasing this the laughter is releasing a hormone that helps go against stress. You can't stay in that anxiety situation, okay? So your body's relaxing. So yeah, you can do shows, movies, reading something funny, or being around people that are funny. So you just have to think about like what makes you laugh. And then the last thing, and I want to just see if anybody has anything that they do, is hobbies that you like. So it could be writing, it could be art, it could be reading, it could be music, playing music or listening to music. It could be an active type thing, like maybe you shoot baskets. I was trying to think of other hobbies. So who here has a hobby that they like, that once you do it, that's all you're thinking about and it relaxes you? Ivy?
I like to play basketball.
Basketball. That's good. And that's two, because that's exercise and a hobby. So that's good. Who else has a good hobby they like? Blake?
Soccer.
Soccer. Good too. Jake?
I like soccer and just sometimes to draw.
What was the second thing?
The draw.
Draw. Yep. So art. Yep, definitely. Anything else? Mary Kate, what do you like to do?
Right?
So, right. Does anybody else have any other suggestions? I was trying to think of some other hobbies that people might have. Does anybody have music they like to listen to? Even dance, just dancing. So dancing would be the same thing. Exercising, releasing those hormones that that help reduce the stress. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. But you guys already have some good ones. So the only thing I would say is add to that. So I went through the whole list there. So my suggestion is having that list of all the things that you can do. So if you can write it down, like the breathing exercises, have a list with you. So when you're going through stressors, you can go to that list. It's better to have the list ahead of time and not try to figure out stuff in the middle of being stressed. Or, just going through a situation and then trying to figure out how to deal with stuff. It's good to have like a list that you can go to. So when you're having those feelings of anxiety, stress, feeling short-tempered, and then you can say, you know what, I need to take a break. Maybe I can do one of these things on my list. So it kind of depends on where you're at, what you can do. You might be in a situation where all you can do is the deep breathing. And then you can, if you're at home, you can do different things. If you're out, you can do different things. So anyway, that is all I have. Did you guys have any questions? Does anybody have any comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that salmon can help with like headaches. Is there any other food that you know of that can help?
It's things with like magnesium. So any of the stuff that has magnesium in it. Let me look on here. Yeah, it was like spinach, leafy green vegetables, soybeans, tuna, nuts, seeds. So those have magnesium and some have omega-3 fatty acids. Now, some of those you can take, you can also find just natural supplements like magnesium and omega-3. Those are actually like vitamin supplements. So do you tend to stress and get like stress headaches or tension headaches?
Yes. So I try to stay as happy as possible and stress free, because I know that when it does come, then I know I'll have a headache or a migraine.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that sometimes. Well, as much as I can, I try to avoid it. So I just try to be happy, laughing, as you were saying.
Yeah. No, definitely. I experienced the tension headaches. So yeah, so just the whole thing that I find that doing it all together, eating healthy, the exercise, good sleep. Oh, one thing I do, I didn't add on here, but sometimes I just, if you take a really hot bath, sometimes that, you're taking a hot bath, that relaxes your muscles. So it depends on what kind of situation you have, but like a hot bath with the Epsom salts or bubble bath, or turn down the lights, just total relaxing. So that's another thing. So I do that for my headaches. So I don't know if there's a way, if I can send out some of this through Sandy. I don't know.
Yeah, you can send it to us and we can send it out to those on here.
So if you guys are interested, I can send out like my list of stuff to Sandy to send out if you want me to. But does anybody else have any other questions or things to add or any thoughts? So hopefully I gave you a list of new things that you can try or add to what you already do. So I don't think I don't have anything else. If nobody has,
I think that was very insightful. Okay. I think it was very insightful and very good things to keep in mind going through the stressful environments of teenage life, for sure. So, well, thank you, Heather, for your time. It was good having you out tonight, and we appreciate it very much for you guys coming out. Next week, my better half will be hosting, I'm sure. So she's traveling today, so I'm the lucky one to host, but she'll be back next week, and you'll be able to hear her voice and her smiling face, which is much more attractive than mine. But I'm not real sure what the topic is next week. I was trying to look it up, but I am not able to multitask very well right this second. So, but same time every week on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. So hopefully we can see everybody out next week.
We have Q&A with an attorney next week.
oh my God.
There you are. She's hiding behind Katie's piece there. They're driving, so she's on Mowbray Mountain, I think, or Mont Lake or something, driving down and back into town. So.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I hope I gave you guys something that was helpful. So.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. Uh-huh.